This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. After more than a year, Food Fair was back in the territory on St. John. It was one of the USVI's carnival vaccination events. In our USVI News, Ali Bornvanak was there for a taste of all the action.
Food Fair on St. John, a vaccinated carnival event, and one so many have been waiting for so long.
My name is Atara Wilkins, but the business is Barbara's Tarts and Sweets. My mother is Barbara, and we sell all the local traditions. We have tamarind stew, cherry stew, tarts, we have sugar cakes, tamarind balls, and sweet potato pudding.
Fantastic. Well, look, the guava tart is my favorite. What have been some of the most popular items?
The coconut tart sells the best. The coconut tart and the tamarind stew.
The name of your booth is?
Horizon Local Drinks.
Fantastic. Tell me a little bit about the drinks that you have and how exciting is it to be able to have your booth?
Okay, yeah, so my father has been making drinks since I can't remember, and so I think about 3 or 4 years ago we started selling drinks for the food fair. We couldn't do it last year because of COVID, so we're excited to get to do it this year. Pretty much all the main ingredients of the drinks are locally grown, except for ginger and stuff that you can't really grow here. But everything else is locally grown. The passion fruits come out of our yard. The cane we get from other people in the community. Hibiscus comes from trees in our yards. So yeah, everything is natural, everything is local, and yes, pretty excited to be out here.
How great is it to have something like this? This is the first time we've had a food fair like this since the pandemic.
It's wonderful. It's really good to just see the culture come alive again, see everyone interacting with each other, and just feel the sense of culture and unity. It's good. It's a good feeling.
From the tamarind juice to the food, the music, the crafts, the jewelry, the people, the energy. This has been a fantastic event. And another thing everyone can agree on is that we definitely want more of these in the future. In St. John, Ali Bornvanak, USVI News.
Looks like a lot of fun, and back to a sense of normalcy. And over on St. Thomas, there were celebrations of the USVI's Emancipation Day. From bells to conch shells, the sounds of freedom rang loud and clear. Dozens of people attended the Emancipation Day celebration at Emancipation Garden. Festivities took place here as well as over on St. Croix and St. John. In St. Thomas, it was the first Emancipation Day celebration without the King Christian IX statue, which was removed earlier this year. Many local residents got up to sing, speak, and perform. And the names of many Virgin Islanders were shared out loud, honoring their contributions to the territory and freedom.
Queen Agnes, Queen Cosilla, Queen Susanna, Queen Wilhelmina Lewis, Queen Matilda, we say, Ashe. We acknowledge the names of David Hamilton Jackson, Rothschild Francis, Hubert Harrison, Alton Adams, J. Antonio Jarvis, Valdemar Hill Sr., Enid Ba, Gladys Abraham, Arona Peterson, Adelita Cancrine, Ivana Eudora Ken, and Edward Woodman Blyden. We say Ashe. We acknowledge the names of Oswald Harris, Janie Tuitt, Maria Lewis, Almara Farrell, Edith Williams, Tappy Malloy. Ashe. Maud Proudfoot, Geraldo Gertie, John Maduro, Lesmore Emanuel, Jean Emanuel, Lucinda Million, Hugo Jackson, Emil Griffith. We say Ashe.
And we want to get you the latest now on the path of Hurricane Elsa. Cuba evacuated 180,000 people Monday during fears that Elsa could cause heavy flooding after battering several Caribbean islands, killing at least 3 people. The Cuban government opened shelters and moved to protect sugarcane and cocoa crops ahead of the storm. Most of those evacuated went to relatives' homes, while some people sheltered at government facilities. Hundreds living in mountainous areas took refuge in natural caves as they prepared for the emergency. According to the National Hurricane Center, Sunday, Elsa had maximum sustained winds of about 60 miles per hour. A storm surge of 3 to 5 feet is expected along the southern coast of Cuba. Meantime, Elsa strengthened into the first hurricane of the Atlantic season Friday as it blew off roofs and snapped trees in the eastern Caribbean, where officials closed schools, businesses, and airports. The Category 1 storm was the first hurricane to hit Barbados in more than 60 years, unleashing heavy rains and winds on the island and then on St. Vincent and the Grenadines as well, which are already struggling to recover from the recent massive volcanic eruptions earlier this year. Authorities in Barbados said they received calls about families trapped inside their homes, collapsed houses, and power and water outages widespread. Authorities opened dozens of shelters in St. Vincent and urged people to evacuate if they lived in a valley or near a valley, given the threat of flash flooding and mudslides, especially on the northern part of the island. Again, this footage you're seeing here is from Friday. The first cruise ship to leave a U.S. port since the pandemic started wrapped up and returned to Fort Lauderdale on Saturday. Passengers traveled to Mexico and the Bahamas, but the ship had another distinction: its groundbreaking captain. Reporter Janet Shamalian met her at sea.
Tell me what you see.
When she's not charting course on the bridge of the Celebrity Edge,
How are you?
you might find Captain Kate McHugh just about anywhere on board, even officiating an at-sea wedding.
I, Bradley, take you outward.
McHugh was at the helm of this week's historic cruise, the first leaving a U.S. port since the pandemic. She's also the first American woman to ever captain a mega cruise ship.
You dreamed about this as a child. Was this the goal?
This was the end result of dreaming since I was 12 years old when my parents took me on my very first cruise.
TV's big hit, The Love Boat, had her yearning to be cruise director, the only woman she saw in a position of authority.
My dad said, you can do anything you want in the world, including drive the thing, and that was the seed that was planted. Hi there.
McHugh has become somewhat of a celebrity in the cruising world, but maybe an even bigger star off the ship. More than 2 million TikTok followers. She travels the world with her hairless Sphinx.
Look at the camera.
Bug Naked is a star in her own right. 50,000 Instagram fans.
So how many bow thrusters do you think we're going to have for departure?
The captain already inspiring officers
The weather
like these.
forecast?
During the pandemic, McHugh spent 318 days aboard the Edge, her relief unable to reach the vessel. Now, with passengers back on board, there's no place she'd rather be.
That's pretty amazing. Good for her. Now to news out of our nation's capital. We're learning more about how much COVID relief money could be going to the new infrastructure deal. And Congress is preparing to shift around billions of dollars from other areas as well. Our Washington correspondent Matt Knadler is tracking your money.
The White House provided an outline of how the infrastructure package would be paid for, but they didn't provide specific dollar amounts. So we've been digging, trying to figure out exactly how this will be paid for, and here's what we found out. According to the early estimates from the Nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, $80 billion of unspent COVID relief money will go toward the infrastructure. Another $25 billion will come from unused unemployment insurance after 26 states have announced they have or will cancel their COVID UI benefits earlier than scheduled. Those two areas alone count for nearly 1/5 of the new spending in the bipartisan deal reached last week, and it's a top priority for Senate Republicans.
It was trillions and trillions of dollars, literally. And so let's repurpose that. Let's use that money, and rather than eventually spend it on who knows what, let's spend it on infrastructure now.
Nearly $1.5 trillion in COVID relief money remains unspent. Other funding sources include a big win for President Biden, a projected $100 billion in unpaid tax income as they boost funding for the IRS, and another $100 billion from public-private partnerships and municipal bond purchases.
This is a generational investment to modernize our infrastructure, creating millions of good-paying jobs.
Now, it's important to note that these numbers are approximate for now as lawmakers hammer out the final details of the bill. On Capitol Hill, Matt Knadler reporting.
So, of course, USVI News reached out to the White House for specific figures, but they did not return our requests for comment.